Okay, welcome to week 9. Not a lot going on this week in terms of assignments. You're finishing up your instruction manuals, and they'll be due this time next week. I'm doing this on Thursday evening. And that's really all there is to the instruction manuals. The couple things I had to say about that were I was looking at the steps that people would put in the Google Drive, and all I can say is don't forget the peanut butter and jelly video. Be sure you've got all the steps in the right order. Those were just rough drafts, and that looks fine. So, be sure you get all the steps and give it to somebody and see if they can actually do the thing. That's called usability testing, which we're not really going to be doing much of, or do really any at all in any kind of formal way. But usability testing is really important when you're doing technical writing on the job, because it's the only way you can be sure that your instruction manual is doing what it's supposed to do. So we're kind of shortchanging that, but if you can get somebody to use it and test it out, do the revisions, write up what they told you, and then post both that write-up about what they told you and your revision, your final draft in the Google Drive. Okay? So that's all there is to that. The other thing that I noticed, people were doing analyses of the of the instruction manuals. A lot of conversation about images. So pay close attention to the visuals that you use. If you're not going to use video, and you're doing something that's sort of sequential, you put this here and then that here, or you add this and then that. I've noticed some people commenting on needing to have those sequential photos to be sure that whoever is doing the thing that you're having them do are doing it right. So it's good to have as much visual reinforcement of the writing as you possibly can. So that's it for the instruction manual. So here's the homework. So a couple things are going on. We're getting ready to be moving into the team project, like starting now, essentially, although you don't really have to do much of anything for it until we get to week 10. So the one thing you need to do this week in terms of the the team project, is complete that individual assessment form that I had you do week 1 and submit it to me email. There's a copy in this Google Drive folder that I'll show you in a minute that you can then copy into your own computer, fill out, and then send in to me. Okay, so if you haven't done it, do it, because you're going to be needing that when your teams start to meet. Nothing else is due, but start thinking about the problems in your field you might tackle. And here's a Padlet for posting the ideas if you have one. Again, I'll get to that in a minute. And then upload your instruction manual. So what we're working on now, what we're moving into at this point, is the big team project. And this is like, the mother lode. And I know everybody hates group work, but the reality of working in any technical field is that you're going to be working in teams, whether you're working with the people who are on the same project or who are clients. There's always some sort of team project that's going on. You spend your life doing collaboration when you're out working, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. Doesn't matter. It's all teamwork. So what I've done is I've created a scenario for you that a lot of people are going to run into, and that's what you're going to tackle. The short version you can read this at your leisure, but the short version is that your team either works for or actually is a technical or science company. And then there's a problem or issue that interests you, that's sort of come up, and that you have got a proposed solution for, or where you can find solutions for it. And so you want to recommend making a proposal, essentially, to either your low-tech bosses or investors, or to potential non-tech customers, clients. This is important, low-tech and non-tech. All right, so you're not writing to a professional audience for the most part for this project. It is a proposal to be able to do work. Then that's essentially what this whole project is about. Now you can do anything you want to. Again, we'll get teams depending on how many people are still in the class. It's usually 5 people work fine for these teams. And over the terms, I've had students do, and other technical writing teachers have had students do any number of things. I mean, these are just some from the past. If you've got something that you're interested in, and you're pretty sure it's an issue or a problem in your field, and other people will jump on board, then that's fine. That's what the Padlet's for, is to put that ideas up there and kind of form groups around that, right? But these are some of the kinds of things you'll be doing. So it's really up to your own imagination and interest. You can, like I said, you can even recycle one of these ideas because your take is going to be different than another class's take. So it doesn't matter, okay? Whatever you do. So to create this proposal that I'm talking about, there's three things. There's three parts to it. One is a 4,000 to 6,000 word science technical research report about the problem or issue. Now this, you can get as techie as you want on here. There's going to be some reading on how to do one of these things on Perusall. What I've got up there right now I don't like, so I'm going to be finding something else. So stay tuned for next week to give you a better model, better template for what's there. But it really is your chance to create a document that looks like a report. It's got the history and the context of the problem, the causes, and the nature of the problem, and then the current solution or lack of solutions to the problem, and then whatever whatever you want to propose at the end. Now, again, this is going to be based on professional, scientific, and technical articles that you're going to have to go out and dig around in the library or in the professional journals that you know. Okay, so it's a whole separate thing, and it's going to live on this website I'm going to talk about as a supporting document for the people around the folks that you're going to be pitching to may want to look at. If they really are technical and they want to look at supporting documentation, this is what this is going to be. Okay, so this one's going to take a while, and you'll have to split this work up. Then I'll talk about how to do that in a second and more next week. So the first thing is this big research report. The second thing is create a website, and it is going to be your proposal, right? So you walk into, or you get on a Zoom meeting, and you're going to show them the website. Now I'll show you how to set up a project website on OpenLab next week. It's really very, very easy, but you can create if you got a web person, a webmaster, web head, whatever you want to call them these days, on your team, and you want to start from scratch, that's fine. It doesn't make a bit of difference. But it's a place to do your proposal. I'll link you out to some ones from other students in previous terms, but essentially is, it's got the front page that says this is it. It's got an about page with the people on your team. You got some stuff about the problem. You got your solution. You got a tab that's got the proposal, and you've got a presentation. This is the part of it. So you create a presentation that will go on your website. Okay. Please don't read off, and you're going to have to narrate it. Okay. And don't read off I freaking hate PowerPoint because people tend to put everything on a PowerPoint and then they just read it. That's the worst. That's just the worst. One of the toughest classes I ever took when I was training to be an EMT was anatomy and physiology, which is a hard enough class. But the instructor, it was an enormous room. There were like 200 people in that room. He had he had it on a PowerPoint, and then he stood up and read the PowerPoint to us. It's like you could hear the snores across the room. And PowerPoint has a really bad reputation like that. PowerPoint can be used brilliantly, and again, I'm going to show you next week. I'll show you some examples of really good PowerPoints. You may know, you may have created good PowerPoints in the past or studied it before, so you can bring that into your team, right? So report, website, and a presentation. And when you're all done, you're going to submit an individual report to me. That's an analysis and evaluation of what happened, right? And a lot of my grading is kind of based on that because you get to evaluate yourself and say what you did well and did badly, and what other people in the group did well, what other kinds of problems you might have run into. Okay, so this is part of it. So in essence, your website is your proposal. Now here's this nice graphic flow chart of the project. So it's a problem, what needs a solution, what is it, what's the background, and then here's the report, the website, presentation, all right, and then this reflection report is what I'm talking about at the end, this final analysis thing. So it's a tightly bound up little project, right? That's essentially what it amounts to. Now the timing for it this week is just do your individual assessment and send it to me, and then hear the rest of them. By the next Monday, you'll have ideas on Padlet, Now, the interesting thing about using this Padlet, I'm going to click over to it. There's nothing on there right now. At least there better not be. It's just a cork board, right? It's hard to say that 3 times real fast. Put your name in the title, identify a problem in your field that might make a good team project. And then if you think that's interesting and you kind of, would like to get on board with that one, you comment on it. Put your comment, put your name in the comment, and or if you got something new or a different take on it or whatever, put it up there. Because I'm going to be using this, essentially, this Padlet, to form the teams. So that's going to be an important thing to do. But that's not due for another week, not till the 4th. So not this coming week, but the week after. Then by that Friday, not this coming Friday, but Friday the 7th, Thursday the 7th, I'll assign the teams. And then it's kind of up to you how you make it work. You can use Slack. You can DM each other to get things set up. I'll create a channel for your team. You can use Discord. You can use, there's a whole bunch of different tools that people use to do these collaborative projects. So I kind of leave it up to you all. This Zoom link is anybody can use it anytime. It's open. It's not moderated. It does have a passcode. So if you want, as a group, to meet on the Zoom link, go for it. It's fine with me. And then by Monday the 11th, I'm going to take you over. I'll take you over and show you stuff in the Google Drive. The first team meeting, it's over here, up here. First team meeting, team project materials. Here are the instructions for them. There's several things in here. There's a team charter, a task list, and a group evaluation sheet. I'll put the individual assessment thing in here too, just for the heck of it. Don't write on them. Copy them and put them someplace else. Create your own Google Docs. But the team charter is really where your team can get together and lay down the rules. If you're late, what happens? If you disappear, what happens? That kind of stuff. You'll see when you look at it. The team task list and schedule is just a scheduling tool. You can use another one. I don't care. But it's just one way to divide up the workload. And then this is the final evaluation sheet. So let me show you. Let me go back over here. So the team charter, when you meet the first time, you'll want to share your individual worksheets to talk about who's good at what, or who's got time constraints, and that kind of stuff. And then you write this stuff down. Each person's strengths, conflict resolution, missed deadlines, unacceptable work, that kind of stuff. So you create this team charter. So if anybody kind of drops the ball, you can go back and say, well, on the team charter we said that if you miss a deadline, you're getting a 0 for your individual evaluation, and we'll have to pick up the slack. All right, so that's what this team charter thing is for. The team task list, as my puppy's got a cough, I apologize. This is just a scheduling tool. I use this in my CST ID class when we're creating video games, interactive video games. The thing about this contribution value, and I'll go over this again next week, but if you sort of assign a weight, it's like a weighted scale. So if somebody is doing, for example, here's an example. Somebody's doing, everybody's working on it. One person's doing this, but they get a 7. Right? So if you combine all the numbers, everybody should end up with the same numbers. So it's just a way to kind of even out. This is from last summer, so I'll go back and change it. I forgot to do that. You can even out the flow of work, but you don't have to use this. This is just an example of something you can use. And the other thing that's in here is just, in case you didn't do this already, it's just the worksheet, the individual assessment worksheet that you can copy and fill out on your own and send it to me. So that's all the stuff here. I've also made a big folder for each project team. If you want to make one and use it, that's fine. It doesn't matter. You can figure out how you want to manage your workflow and your documents and stuff on your own once you get together. So that's really what is going on with that thing. Now, let me go back here, Week 9. But again, I'll go back over all of this stuff again next week because you don't really have to do anything. The only thing you might want to do is, again, start thinking about what you might want to work on, what idea you think would make a good project, given the parameter, right? That there's a problem, you're gonna propose a solution, and you're gonna be proposing it to your low-tech bosses or investors, or to non-tech customers or clients, right? And it's going to have these things on it. But this really is all you need to be thinking about at this point. There's the project, the flow sheet. This is just overall. Again, I'll have more stuff as we go through the weeks. Better templates, better things to read, better things to look at than are on Perusall now, because I don't like what's up there, and I'm gathering stuff and seeing which is the best one. So so that's it. Right, and the whole project is due May 23rd, including your team evaluation that you emailed to me privately. Oh, I forgot to show you that, didn't I? Let's see, the team evaluation. I knew I'd forgotten something. I always forget something. In the drive. Wake up. Team evaluation. Okay, so at the end of the term, now you may want to make a copy of this yourself and put it in your own, on your own computer somewhere. But this is what's going to happen. So again, it's confidential, and I don't know why it decided not to give me that line, but who the heck knows? It's Google Docs. So yourself, your group members, and then it's a Likert scale, from 1 to 10. Active participation, constructive contribution, support of the process, communication, commitment, and effort. And the definitions or explanations of each of those is right here. So you fill out the Likert scale, and then you get in and do a little narrative, a justification of the ratings that you give to the person. And be sure to put the name of the person. Yeah, I'll remind you of that. So, I think that's all I got for this right now. The only other thing I wanted to say to you is that the expanded definitions are up. My notes are up. The grades are in the grade book. Grades are obviously are kind of fluid. If you do a revision, you can change it, make it better. Just let me know. Same goes for the 500-word summary. If you want to do revisions, just let me know, and I'll go back and take a look at it. And I've already done it a couple of times for people. And all those revisions are due at the end of the term as well, for the 500-word and the expanded definition. Instruction manual too, but you haven't got that in yet. So I think that's it. I think I've covered it all. Team project. So this week, again, all you have to do is you can look over this stuff, but your big chore is to do your instruction manual. Okay, and again, try to give it to somebody to do and see if you can do sort of like a mini usability study on it. And if you do that, put those notes and your instruction manual in the Google Drive. And please do feel free to use Canva. Go over to Canva. I showed you guys how to use that. Let me put Canva up here again. It's free to you, and you can create your own. Be aware of the little crowns, because that'll cost you, but you can upload anything you want to. You can create a video. You can make a presentation. Okay, these are some of the things I'm doing from other classes. Here's an article, story, instruction manuals. I did instructions. These are templates, and you can pick from any number of these things. If you want to, you can change. You can just do a blank one if you want, just a blank page, or get one that you like the size, and then you just throw everything out and start over and do something new, and that's fine. You just grab, like if you're doing this and you don't like something, you just grab it and it goes away. It's really very simple. So that's Canva. Please feel free to use it. It's a little bit more of a modern take on an instruction manual. It's not a technical, like as much of a technical document, and there's an example of a technical document, instruction manual. You find those all over the place. Those are the things that we were looking at before. So go forth, have instruction manuals, start thinking about your team projects, and let me know if you have questions. And I will see you next week.